All right. All right, so we should be live now. I am going to present my screen. Let me do a whole screen here. And share system audio. All right. So, yeah, you're seeing my current screen there. Let me pull up chat. And how's the music volume? Yeah, I need to pull up. Okay, so Twitch. Music too loud? Yeah, let me figure out how to turn it. I'll mute it for now. Let me figure out. Let me try one thing. I don't know how to do this on. Okay, so it looks like Mac OS doesn't have the Windows style output, but hold on, I bet I can do it just up here. So if I go to here, all right, and we're just getting started. So welcome everyone on the live stream. Feel free to chat. I'm getting some of our chat window stuff going. Let's see. So I bet we're on LinkedIn. We're probably on Twitter. Here we go. Just in case there's comments. I think we can work this out. If you were at a comment, whatever. We'll probably see it. Yeah, maybe my audio is muffled even when I'm looking forward. Ooh. Check. Microphone check. See anything? Yeah, I don't see anything over here in screen recognition. Okay, microphone check. Let me pop out the Twitter chat. Okay, popping this out. Give me a second. Sorry, still setting up these chat windows. Jeez, that is way too big. Take it easy, Twitter. All right. So yeah, we'll at least get these going. Not what I wanted. All right. You know, similar to like Primogen and Theo do their split chats and all that. Okay. And then I think we're on YouTube as well, right? So let me just pop open the YouTube. All right. And so, yeah, is my audio still muffled? I can't. Okay, wait. So you said perfect, good to go? Okay, it shouldn't be the headphones. So it may have been, yeah, like the music was coming through. I think turning the music off was it. So we're good now. All right. I still got to like look over to the side and set up the YouTube. Just to have the chat ready. And who all's out there? What y'all up to? Got any viewers hanging out? Oh, mute. Pop out chat. And there we go. All righty. Finally, got all three of our chats visible. So yes, as people chat, we can do this. Now let me just pop open a new window. So the main thing we're going to be working on while we are waiting for GitKraken 12 info from Jonathan is we're going to look at a project as a sneak peek of something we're working on here at GitKraken. And I'm just going to be doing some live coding, filling the air while we check it out. In about, let's call it 20 minutes, Jonathan will be here showing us all sorts of cool stuff in GitKraken 12. And that's going to be really fun. But in the meantime, I am just looking at this project that we kind of built. So yeah, this is the thing I've been kind of doing on my own stream. And it is called GitBench. Still got to do some work, like the logo and some other things need work. But the idea is we can measure how good certain models are at doing Git stuff. And at the front of the pack, yep, we see GPT-5.5 nailing it. Let me double check on. All right. So yeah, chat's good. So yeah, what we can see is just which models are kind of good at doing Git things and which ones are kind of not so good at it. Surprisingly, Claude Opus is down here at the bottom, and we're not sure why. Let's dig into it, right? So if we look at Opus and some of the stuff we got going, we can click into the high fixtures, and let's look at like maybe the hard ones. So Opus does complete some of the hard fixtures, but it fails at some of the others, which is a little annoying. And I'm not sure why. But, right, like maybe let's look at some of these other benchmarks. So all difficulties, what do we think it was bad at? So it wasn't very good at work tree stuff. I remember that. It's failing 3 of the 12 tests we got. So that's actually not terrible. What about submodule stuff? That's usually something things mess up. So a lot more failures on submodule usage, right? And that is pretty consistent. Ooh, all right. So that might be a bug we want to fix. We need to get filtering and all this stuff set as query parameters. And when we're clicking between any of these, those query parameters should persist, right? That would be a better experience. So let me do this. We have GitBench. Let me make sure I got the editor open. And I did not. Okay. So what we're doing here, if we look at the general repo, I probably don't need that. And we're going to just have a notes file. All right. So here in the notes file, what do we actually want to work on? Well, number one, query params should be used for filtering on the model page. And then beyond that, query params should persist when changing efforts on the model page. Okay, cool. So a little bit of a sneak peek. Let me make sure I have GitKraken open. I don't think I need to update, so that's good. Let me, come on, move over. There we go. I'm going to put this on its own window. And yeah, a little bit of a sneak peek of some GitKraken stuff. What we're going to do, I don't need any of these windows. Let's close these. Oh, like a close all would be cool. All right, I had way too many things open. Release notes, a little bit of a spoiler. But what we're going to do here is I'm just going to open a local repository I got. And yeah, it's going to be the GitBench stuff. And hold on, we got anything in chats? Looks like we're good for now. So yeah, feel free to ask any questions about what we're doing, what we're building. And yeah, I am going to start just like fiddling on this. We got about 15 minutes to fill, and we can kind of demo what we're doing with this. So yeah, we got that. This is where our editors live. GitBench is what we wanted. So boom. Now here's something. I do need to update because we don't have our zoom levels there. So hold on. Let me update. Or not. It says it just checked for the update. I can't click any of these to get the update. I may have to re-download. Let me stop and restart GitKraken. That's probably the issue. Because yeah, I definitely need the zoom levels that I helped add. Because we got the zoom kicked up to 200% now. So GitKraken's going to launch here in just a moment. And how's everyone's day going? What you up to? It would be better if I had music going. I agree. But I think it's fine for now. And honestly, it's probably better for our YouTube publication to not have the audio. All right, so I believe GitKraken is doing its thing, launching up. It may be frozen due to a bug. Yeah, yes. Okay, so we have a bug here. I believe it is fixed in the latest version we update to. There we go. All right, so I believe that same bug was what was preventing us from doing our update as well. This does say we're on 1201 still, and now theoretically we can update. Here we go. All right. Perfect. Launched way quicker that time. And now we are on 12.1.2. Perfect. So yeah, little quick sneak peek of some stuff Jonathan's going to be telling us all about. Here in the GitBench directory, or whatever, like repo, we're going to zoom in because we can go to 200% now, which is awesome. But yeah, so the gist, and honestly, if we're watching the stream, it would still be beneficial to be able to zoom in even more, right? Just because of how StreamYard works and streaming and public, like, you know, just presenting and all that stuff. So yes, I'm still pushing to get a 250 and a 300, but at least we got 200% now. Okay, so we are doing this. We just pulled in some branding there, but, and yes, I actually use the CLI for a lot of other things. Let me just do this. Git remote -v, git pull, or let's do this. Okay. Okay. I may have forgotten to commit some of the stuff we had yesterday, which is fine. I thought we did. Yeah. Anyway, I was working on this on a different machine, and I may have forgotten to push up those changes, but it's not a big deal. I do want to push this to origin main, just so that the branch is there, and that should be our default, but it's not a big deal. So here we are on main at the moment. We're going to do a git checkout. And we're going to call this just model page fixes. Model page filters. All right. Yes, I've modified the Astro config. We don't need to commit that. We are on a new branch now. And yeah, so this is what we want to do. We're going to use GitKraken itself and start a new agent session. And that agent session is going to be on this branch. We're going to use Codex CLI. And do we want to give it a branch name? Or yeah, branch name is the agent session. Let's just start that. Boom. All right. So now we have this work tree created, and we have Codex theoretically firing up in here. It didn't launch for some reason, but that's okay. We do have an update to do. I don't think it's essential. I did this a little bit yesterday. Can we zoom in more on the terminal? Ooh, we can't. Yeah. All right. So because that is basically illegible for you all, I'm going to do this. Right. So, yep. Can't visualize it there at the moment. Let's just do Codex instead. We'll skip for now. And that is much more legible, right? Yeah, way better. All right, so this is a bug because of what I'm running under the hood, that MCP server. We have 2 of them. One of them's failing. That's a separate thing. We'll deal with that later. In the moment, though, right, like, let's just double check. Ooh, and that might actually fail because we failed the MCP startup of that server. Ooh, all right, never mind. Not a big deal. So what we want to do here, I kind of want to plan mode a bit, right? And the goal with what we're trying to do is what we had. Wait, where did I put it? Yeah, what we had here in our notes. So yeah, query params should be used for filtering on the model page. Query params should persist when changing efforts on the model. And let's just double check. Any chats? And hey, yep, thank you. Thank you, coworker. I don't know if I can say your name or not. Don't want to dox you, but appreciate you manning the chats and seeing what people are up to. If anyone's over on Twitter, Twitch, or YouTube, feel free, chat, ask me questions. We will have some stuff coming up in about 10 minutes where Jonathan will be doing some GitKraken desktop stuff for us. But yeah, just I can't zoom in quite enough. So we're going to do it just caveman coding in the terminal. But okay, hey, it finally resolved with that. Yeah, so I think I got like an outdated GitKraken CLI there, which means I have an outdated MCP. We'll ignore that for now. So can I do a clear? Yeah, sweet. Oh, clear does this too? Yeah. We'll wait on that. So the plan is, oh, and clear even clears plan mode. I didn't know that. Huh. Okay. On the model details page, the ooh, that's interesting. I'm gonna have to set that up better. On the model details page, the filters need to modify the query params so things are bookmarkable. We also want switching effort levels on that page to maintain those query params. So this is an Astro project. So there's a little bit of kind of trickiness to what that means because part of the page is rendering just statically. So that means that these little buttons here are going to need to be JavaScript enabled using just client load, right? So statically, they can just be whatever because these are going to be updating URLs using JavaScript as well. It's a little trickier to make that fall back properly, but it would be ideal if we could make this work without JavaScript. We'll have to like noodle on that and think about it a bit. But our goal at least is when we change this, the URL changes and we can refresh and it would have the same stuff. And then from there, we would click and be able to do these. So technically what we're seeing right now, and yeah, we are in plan mode right there, but I just remembered there's one thing I need to do here. So we're going to go repos, GitKraken, public, GitBench. Oh, and actually, let me close that because we don't need it. We actually do have the server running. So we can just do localhost 4321. That way we're going to see stuff changing like as stuff happens. Ooh, and yeah. So this is like the older styling too. I think I'm okay with that. But yes, this is where we're like diverging just slightly. Just due to like maintaining 2 separate forks. So that's on me. I should have had all that changes pushed up to main yesterday. Whatever. This problem still exists on this page. Oh, but we don't have the full data. That's right. That's why we're doing the local thing. Okay. Well, this would still be something that we could check, right? It's not updating the URL. So now we can look at the plan and kind of kick it along. So the idea, right? Let's see the plan, review it. The key changes, right? We want to support these query params. The benchmark, difficulty, and tag should be query params for that. On page load, we read that stuff and populate the filter values and apply the filters. When a filter changes, update the current URL so bookmarking or copying works. Omit empty default filters from the URL. So reset returns the path to a clean query string. Nice. That's always a fun one to debug. It's not hard, but it's effort. Update reset button to clear the selects, reapply filters, and remove filter query params. Preserve the active query filter when switching effort levels by updating the reasoning level tab links client side from the current window.location.search. Perfect. Yeah, I think it nailed it. Implementation notes. Yeah, we have some other stuff that we don't care. Preserve unrelated query params if present. Sure. Keep the existing plain browser script approach. No React Island or shared routing abstraction is needed. I think it's fine for now. But the problem being, these are just standard dropdowns. And yeah, these info circles need to go away. We'll fix that. As just standard dropdowns, these may diverge from some of the other dropdowns that exist. So here, right? Well, no, that looks like just a standard dropdown too. I think we're fine. I think it's fine. So yeah, I like the plan. Let's implement it. Okay, so assumptions. Query param names should be readable and explicit. Yes. Filter changes should use replace state, not push state, to avoid a browser history entry for every dropdown change. I think I like that idea. I think it's a better thing. So yes, implement the plan. I like it. Let's do it. Now, the interesting thing that is going to be a little hard to see because we just don't have the zoom level, right? We can look at this. It is running. I forget now how to show the terminal. Oh, there it is. And it is saying it's running and it's useful, but because I didn't start it here, it doesn't help us as much. We do have another thing that would be quite interesting that I just can't show you at the moment, but I'm looking forward to that when it's finally releasable. So yeah, back to what we're prompting here. And yeah, I guess the big thing, actually, we may have Jonathan joining here in just a second. Looks like he's, I don't see him backstage yet at the moment, but he may be jumping on any moment to talk to us about GitKraken 12. In the meantime, though, I feel like I forgot to explain what GitBench is really doing. Right? So GitBench is taking all of these models that we're testing and running 204 fixtures within, I believe, 16 or something like that, 17 test suites. I think it's 17. We have tested Claude Opus, DeepSeek, Gemini, a bunch of things. And the idea is that we can measure their capability of doing Git stuff. So what Git stuff are we talking about? Well, if we click into, let's say, GPT-5.5 and Hi, there are blame forensics. Let's do it this way. Let's go look at these. So blame forensics, branch cleanup, cherry picking, commit messages, all sorts of fun stuff. And the idea is that we can just measure what the best models at doing this are and see what values we get. Now, there's some bugs. Obviously, this is a work in progress. For some reason, this isn't even populated. But I do see Jonathan backstage, or maybe even on screen here.
I think I'm on screen.
You are on
Am I on
screen.
screen?
Perfect.
Wow.
Wow. All right. So I'm going to hand it off to Jonathan. I will probably hop back into doing some more of this stuff when he is finished. But for the time being, let's hear all of the cool new stuff for GitKraken 12.
Sweet, yeah. Love to jump in. I saw you kind of demoing parts of it, so I'll be glad to kind of uh, share the full scope of what was released in GitKraken Desktop 12.0. So if you missed it, this was big release that happened back in May. Um, Definitely the most notable difference was you now have access to agent sessions, but for those of you who like to try out the terminal got a big boost. I have prepared a couple things, just a couple. One is actually a thing I need to do, and I figure, well, what better thing to demo than a thing I need to do for actual work anyway? And
Perfect.
one is a bonus item that the support team also requested, hey, while you're at it, can you get this thing too? I'm just like, okay, cool. So this is my first time on StreamYard, so let's see how it goes. I'm gonna try to share my screen, hopefully the right screen. Let's see how it goes, Chris.
Sounds good.
Let's see, share screen. Thanks for the tips. Allow. Now I get to pick my screen. All right. With luck. Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, I think Chris has already kind of showed you all around, but just for those who might be tuning in or watching the VOD, I'll be using GitKraken today. It's available on gitkraken.com. We have downloads for Windows, Mac, or Linux. If you have a license, your one license is good for whichever version you download. So if you have remote machines that you pop into, you can download GitKraken in there and use that same license across all those different platforms. And we even have Apple Silicon across Windows, Mac, and Linux. Before it was just a Mac exclusive. Now we heard you, and we got one out for all the other distros as well. Oh, and Windows too. So what I'm going to do today is, if you ever have gone to help.gitkraken.com, this is our support documentation hub. So this is where you can get help on any of our products. So we have GitKraken Desktop, GitLens, Git Integration for Jira. We have Insights, CLI, GitKraken.dev, MCP. It's all right here. And you may not know this, but each of these are their own Git repository. We have all of these files are markdown files. We use GitKraken. Well, at least our support team has built up the habit and the workflow of using GitKraken Desktop to update, to push out updates to the website. And so that's what I'm going to be doing here today as part of our first example, and as a nice, easy way to show off, and hopefully a nice, easy to follow way, I should say, of how to use GitKraken 12 features to make the most of knocking out something that might be on your list. So for today's example, I think I already have it open here, but we have the release notes available as a big button here for each of these, for most of these. Any of them that have release notes will show them. And so I'm going to pop over to GitKraken Desktop /current. And here you may notice, we'll see. You may not notice. It's okay. I don't blame you. It's such a small, subtle thing. But we have version 12.1.1 as the latest version here. But if you were to pop open to, actually, I'll go one deeper. If you go to our website, you'll see that we're on 12.1.2. Uh-oh. We need to update the release notes. We updated them in the application, but we did not update them on the Help Center. So let's fix that. That was something I caught this morning, and I'm just like, you know what? We can make use of this on the live stream.
Nice.
So what I did ahead of time is I have a GitHub issue against this repo. So this is a public repo. So it's here, it's available. So these are the very release notes that we send out whenever you pop open the latest version of GitKraken Desktop. We will present you with the release notes of what changed. If you scroll all the way down right now, you'll probably see the big version 12 release where we can kind of go into detail. Oh, this was April. Sorry, the big April release where we did some of the things I'm about to show you. But you'll notice here that we have 12.1.2 already listed in the application. So the app's good. The app has the latest release notes. But right now, the Help Center is only showing up to 12.1.1. So I already grabbed what we needed for 12.1.2, popped it in here in this GitHub issue. And, I'm just going to pop this onto my clipboard. There's probably easier way just to do this, but let's just have it on my clipboard for convenience sake. So I have GitKraken Desktop open. We're on version 12.1.2. And what I'm going to do here is I already have GitKraken Desktop open here in this tab. But for those of you who might be using or haven't come to GitKraken Desktop in a while, basically the way that you open a repo is that if you don't have a new tab open, you can just click this plus icon here at the top to create a new tab. You'll be presented with something that looks like this. And here we have three magic buttons here. One is if you already have repos on your machine, you can just click to browse and navigate to wherever you have those repos open and just click to open. Let's see, let's open this oldie goldie one. Oh, support.axosoft.com. This one has not been updated in a hot minute. This is a project I used to contribute to all the time. We'll see here, like the most recent commit is from 2024. That's not too bad.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like we pushed a couple updates, or at least we created this Jenkins file. Okay, pretty nice. But we're going to pop over to the support documentation for GitKraken desktop docs. So one of the things, I'm going to show two things first, and then we'll get into the thing we're trying to fix here. So two big updates that we had with GitKraken 12 is you may notice that the terminal, this one's more subtle. But first of all, did you know we had an in-app terminal? I talked to a customer yesterday who was on a really ancient version of GitKraken desktop, version 6 dot something.
Oh, wow.
And was like, whoa, you have terminal, in-app terminal? I'm just like, yes, please upgrade.
Right.
Get the terminal. Please upgrade. But one of the coolest things that you get with the terminal is that you can run any command that you want. And, in 2026, we're all about agents. And so you have the ability to run an agent just by, I already have Claude and Codex in my case installed on my machine. So here, for example, I ran the Claude command. And this is the easiest way. If you just want to open up a repo, if you already have a coding agent that you prefer installed on your machine, this is the easiest way to get up and running on a given repo and just get to work. This is nice because we change your directory immediately to like wherever your repo is located. So there's, I don't know, I'm always lazy and I always forget like CD sites. Like I always have to tab and guess. So nice little quality of life thing here.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about the terminals is that like before 12.0, I suppose the one terminal was the same terminal that you saw across every single repo, versus here, for example, you can run, we have autocomplete too for, let me show you real quick. So if you ever run git or npm, I think even yarn, yeah, we have like autocomplete available for those three. I think maybe a few more, but I'm just not able to remember all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So just like some quick little quality of life. If you ever want to just run those commands directly, but you'll notice that this will be different than this right here. So each repo, each work tree, spoiler, will have its own independent terminal. So that's just that was an important thing for us to get in order so that we can make the thing that Chris was probably showing you earlier possible in version 12. So let's stop beating around it. Let me show the left panel. And for long-time GitKraken users, I think the most obvious change is here in the left panel. Now you have the ability to toggle between list, which has a whole bunch of familiar things like the local branches, remote branches, pull requests, issues. Aha, but there's an agents tab now available here. So this is our way of helping you organize agent sessions that you have against a given repository. So for example, we're about to update this repo so that we add in these release notes, but I also want to just scan the rest of the the rest of the support pages for any, I want to know if I need to update any other pages, right? The beauty of like all of these being markdown files is like, well, let me just ask Claude to like scan the repo and see if there's like anything that's been affected by the dot release. So I'm going to have that on a separate work tree. So to show this off, let's go ahead and just get started with the simple change first, where we're just going to change the release notes. So to do that, I'm going to launch a brand new agent session right now I'm just on main, so I'm just on the main repo, but I can click to add a new agent session. We're going to name this GKD 12.1.2 release notes. Separated by dashes. I'm going to have it based off of the latest main. And here I can choose between whichever, what am I calling? What do I call it? Coding agents I'm using. So I'm going to choose Claude Code. I think I need to update Codex to make it work, but I could choose Codex there as well. And then the other cool thing I could do, it's a very subtle option here, but I do like to point it out to customers or users, is that you can set up custom commands that run when you launch a session. So like, for example, I have like npm install pnp build, pnpm build. But if you have other commands that you run every time you spin up an environment for a feature or a fix or a thing that you're doing, you can type them out here, separate them one line at a time, and we'll run those when you launch your agent session. So in my case, I'm happy with just this new branch off of the latest main. We're going to kick off with Claude Code. I'll hit start session. And so it'll kick things off. It'll open a brand new work tree. So here it is, GKD 12.1.2.release /release notes. Here it is, Claude's open and ready to go as well. And this is completely separate from main. So over here I had main. It looks like the same because I have Claude go over here. So let me see if I can clear it out just to kind of distinguish it a bit. And you know what? I love seeing a big nasty error message. Let's try to see if I can get Codex up and running. Oh, wow. Cool. It was giving me issues yesterday, so I guess today it's not too bad.
Nice.
Let me try one more time.
One thing I noticed real quick, just as jumping in, you were doing npm install and then pnpm build. Typically, you'd want to use the same tool for both because of how they use cache and things like that.
Yeah, you know what? I don't have either of these. These are just like Jordan saying, hey, you could put that in there if you want.
Oh, it's just a placeholder.
These are free.
Oh, I got it.
So they're just placeholders.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was so confused
by
by
wait
that.
a minute. Yeah, because I was looking at this like, you know what? I don't think I actually have that in there. And I'm just like,
okay,
oh,
yeah. It's just
it's just our developer saying you could put that one in there if you want.
Sure. Okay, that makes more sense.
That's a good call out.
Yeah, that was so confusing to me.
Thank you for catching that.
No worries.
That's actually a really good point. Cool. All right. So here I still ran into the same issue. I have to sort codecs, the MCP stuff over here, but that's fine. What I wanted to show is that this terminal is very different than this terminal. Great. So I think I still have this on my clipboard. I'm going to trust in my clipboard, and I'm going to say, hey, Claude. I'm going to be polite. Hey, Claude, can you please help me update /current with the latest 12.1.2 release notes? Please honor the format on the /current page. Let's just see how it does. Haha, we did have a bunch of crap in there. Cool. I mean, we did have the release notes on my clipboard. So let's see what Claude does. It's ideating, it's thinking, going through.
Do you remember when the leak happened for Claude Code? One of the best things about like the Claude Code source code leak
was that you could
like
see
the list of like ideating and all that. That was fun.
It just cycled through a list.
Yeah.
And someone had too much fun coming up with that list.
Exactly.
That was really, yeah. Okay.
Sorry to interrupt.
So, no, you good. I love that. And there's going to be like moments where Claude will think a few times, so definitely welcome that. Yeah. So 12.1.2 was released on Tuesday, May 19th. This is true. And so it's saying, hey, so here's what I got for you. Do you want me to go ahead and make that edit? This looks pretty good to me. And when I first started using, like I of course am privileged and I have early access to these features before they're released to the public. And so as someone who has maintained the support documentation or has been a big contributor for years, I love that I was able to kind of verify what the agent was doing. So I was able, it was like peer programming almost. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Where,
sure.
So here, for example, I have the whip node at the top that contains the one change that we just made. So here we have current.md. I can click into it and I can see for myself. I'm in split view, so I see the before and I can compare it to the after. So it's pretty, for me, and it said markdown. So for me, it's so easy to read. I can just like, okay, agent sessions. Yep. Added sort filters. So yeah, so 2 changes. So the agent sessions view and then the 3 bug fixes. And hey, if we wanted to compare, we have the release notes right here, so we can double check. Yep, 1, 2, 3. I just like to like double check certain words. So cutoff collision editable. Do we have cutoff collision editable here? Cutoff collision editable. Yep. Okay. So that's looking pretty good. That's looking pretty good to me. So from here, let me double check this page actually one more time. I'm gonna look at the file view. I just like to double check things. We have the ability to preview Markdown, by the way, in GitKraken Desktop if you're ever in the editor. So the place that I went to, if you missed it, so here at the top, you can first of all switch between diff view and file view. So this is the diff view. This is my ability to kind of see the before and after. And even this, you know, you can slice and dice it into like, here's inline within the rest of the context of the file. Or if you only care about what was added or removed, you can switch to hunk view. But anyway, you can also switch to file view to see the entire file. And then from here, you can switch to preview to see a markdown preview. So here, for example, I can see what it's going to look like in the support docs. Pretty good.
Nice.
So I'm pretty happy with this. Pretty simple change. Let's stage. For those of you who don't know about GitKraken AI, it's here. It's these little purple buttons that you see. So if you have it enabled, we just have some really easy quality of life stuff available to you. You can, for example, have it write the commit message. I know Claude could do it for you too. You could ask the robot to do that. It's up to you. You have options. If you want to save on credits, I don't know. You could always just have us do it for you if you're like trying to be precious about, because you know what? Limits are a real thing. So
They are.
you can offload some of that stuff to us so that you don't have to let Claude look through your change set and summarize what happened. Okay.
Like I've been really using the commit composer. Like I'll do a bunch of stuff like using like Claude or Codex or whatever, and it'll make a bunch of changes. And I just don't feel like actually like figuring out which changes were which like part. So I'll just commit like a foo and then recompose with AI using the commit
That's
composer.
cool.
And it's really nice.
So like you let the AI commit and then you go back with commit composer to reorganize it.
I mean, I just do my own commit, like making sure I add the files I care about and all that, just because I always have like scratch files and things like that sitting. But then I do just a bad commit and then I let, commit composer recompose it for me.
The shitty first commit.
Yes, exactly.
And then, hey, sometimes the best way to get to the
well, it's like it's nice because it groups it up instead of just like all of the work in progress, right? So I can like segment the stuff that I don't want committed.
So let me see if I could show something off that's pretty close to that. So let's pop back over here. Let me copy this. And before I commit this change, that's actually a good point, Chris. Let me create a new agent session. And we're gonna see. We'll just do a docs audit. Blah 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 12 1 2. And this will also be based off the latest main Claude code. Let's spin it up. And this one's going to be a little different. Like these are the changes we did for 12.1.2. Do a sweep of all the .markdown files for any affected, too many Fs, affected sections, pages, or pages, and recommend edits. Keep to, we use like the Google technical writing standards, keep to the Google technical, holy crap, I can spell, technical standards, writing, technical writing standards. All right, paste the thing. So this is one, so now it's choreographing. So this one might take a little longer because it is going to go through all of, I think there's like 80 plus markdown pages on this repo. So let's see what it finds. My guess is it might find like little onesie twosies here or there on a handful of pages. But if it does find at least like a handful of things, we can let it make those changes. And then we could try out the commit composer that Chris was talking about just a few moments ago, just to kind of show off a fairly realistic application of it.
Yeah, I like it. And which model are you using typically?
I typically use Claude. When I'm short on usage on Claude, I'll switch to Codex.
Okay. and like which model on Claude? Are you like purely using Opus or Sonnet or any of that?
I honestly don't distinguish. I think I'm typically on Opus.
Oh, you might be surprised about some of these GitBench results that we're working on.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
That's right.
Sonnet
you were showing
is
that before
actually
I came
really
on.
bad. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Sonnet's real bad, you're saying.
Sonnet's really bad at Git stuff. Like it's good for other things, like prose and plenty of other things, but for Git stuff, it is especially bad.
How does Opus do?
It's also like down there at the bottom.
Okay.
Right? Which is interesting. So it seems like it's like benchmaxing for a lot of the stuff that's on like artificial analysis and all that, but like GitBench is brand new, so these models haven't had a chance to optimize for it.
Okay. I might have to. Well, that makes me feel better about using GitKraken AI to do the Git stuff.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay, looks like it's scanning through some stuff. Oh, it's going to give me a whole bunch of stuff to read through. Let's see. It's going to say, make these changes, I bet. It's going to request permission for me to make these changes. Okay, 3 files. I think. Let's dismiss this to give us some more room. Holy cannoli. All right, 12.2 recommended edit. So it wants to add the release notes. That's good. Yep. I'm glad it caught that. Let's see what else it has. The pull request file has an updated recommends. The work trees markdown file has some changes. And nothing is needed for the bug fixes. That makes sense because those typically are like one-offs. So yeah, the current file, the agents file. Okay, so I'm going to tell it to ignore the current markdown file since we have that going in a separate work tree.
Sure.
But let's go ahead and accept the changes. So I'm going to say ignore the current markdown file, but proceed with the other recommended changes. Oops. All right, whatever. It's probably going to understand me. So this is the part where we'll hopefully see the whip change here at the top of the graph, which I love. I don't know. Maybe I'm just
it's just nice to see the progress updating.
It's just reassuring. Just like, wow, a big ... appeared, and then stuff gets updated. So here, for example, it's really cool because right now it only modified the agents file, and it looks like it was a really quick little just I'll have to double check what that looks like, but now it's asking me to make additional edits. So now when I pop into this file, it probably added another section right here. So I can measurably see, I'm just gonna tell it, yeah, you can just edit this file.
All edits.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay, Claude. You can go ahead. It's just Markdown. It's fine. It'll be okay. So now we'll probably start to see the other files populate here in the top right, which to me is also another burst of dopamine. When I
just like seeing this stuff changing is like nice. Like otherwise it feels really like static, and then you got to like, you know, either open a new tab and check the session. Like, I don't know. It's nice.
So see, they just popped on here. I don't know if you saw, but pull request just populated, work trees just populated, and it just told me that's finishing. It's summarizing its changes, and now it's ready for the other changes. Okay, cool. For more commands. So if I look at work trees, let's take a look. So before it said view work trees through agent sessions view, show the same work trees in the... What is it saying here? So adds coding agent sessions context and quick actions. And that was changed to and a merged PR pill when a branch has a merged GitHub pull request. Okay. That seems innocuous and fine. Let me just double check here by going into the preview. What pages? Oh, it's the work trees. Okay, cool. And let me actually do the code again. And the diff view. I'm just going to switch to inline view. Maybe that's what I was really looking for. Inline view. Oh, it's this table. Okay, so this table was updated. So if I go back now to file view, double check the table. So it's right here. This is what was added.
Okay.
So adds coding agent session context, quick action, and a merged PR pill when a branch has a merged PR. Cool. Very simple.
Right. That's a
very
nice
easy.
update too. Like that's one
Yeah.
that I wouldn't have thought, like just from updating the change notes.
No, I would have like let me update this one table on the work trees dot marked it now. I would. That's tough for. I know a lot about the docs, but not that much about the docs.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, we have the pull requests file, and it looks like it also updated. It added a section how merge pull request status appears in the interface, and it's telling us when a GitHub pull request is merged, GitKraken desktop surfaces a merged PR pill. Okay, so it's just formal documentation about the new PR status pill, and it's located in 3 locations: in the toolbar, in the commit details panel, and the worktree card. You know, I think this technically has always existed, but we've never really called it out. So that's interesting. Okay. And this
And
is at
that's
the
probably
bottom of the
good for like
page.
AEO or SEO, right? Like,
Yeah.
So this is a nice addition, I think.
Agreed. This is why I like having. This is why I'm so thankful that we let the repos, like that we let the support docs remain repos. And now when the age of like you can use agents now, I'm just like, whoa, hold my beer. I'm gonna scan this. I want to scan these docs
Yep.
and see what we could because like it did actually make it easier for us to communicate like way more about like what the features do, what the limits are. And so like if you do ask your favorite LLM, hopefully it can surface the answers for you too. Okay, these all look good to me. So this last one is just this agents view. So to filter and sort agent sessions, looks like you can now sort and filter agent sessions view. So let's actually double check that real quick. Yeah, there is one. Oh my gosh. I didn't know this.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, I didn't know we had this. Okay, so you have the ability to sort by. So there's a reality where you have a ton of these. Like you might have like even just maybe even like a dozen. I could see where filtering will come in handy. And yeah, you can filter by things that have pull requests, things that just have changes. This is cool. So
yeah, and the thing that's even cooler is you can like the work trees that you create outside of GitKraken are still going to show up here, right? You still get those. So if you're using other tools that create work trees like, T3 code or whatever, right? Any of those things will also show up in this list. So you can audit them in our interface.
That's a really good point because like now I'm cursed with knowledge. I am super comfy with using GitKraken desktop to do like these level of changes. But if you're someone who you got your workflow, you got your tool that you like, and you like making those changes there, that's great. You can pop into GitKraken later after the fact. We'll still see those very changes. We'll still see the work trees, just as Chris is saying. And you can rely on us to take care of like the Git parts, the versioning for that part of the workflow.
For sure.
Okay. Well, Chris, I think we could probably give the commit composer a spin. So before, just to kind of show off, before in the other work tree, so if we pop back into the release notes, I still haven't committed this change, but I use the generate commit message with AI button to get this. And this to me is pretty good to go. Let's actually commit it and have it written to the record. Cool. Now for this one though, instead of clicking, I could click to generate a message with AI, but let's actually click the bigger button to compose commits with AI. And let's see how this does. So does it give me 3 commits? Does it give me 1 commit? 2 commits.
Okay.
Wow, it split the difference.
There we go.
So the nice thing about it, this still does demonstrate the benefits of using the commit composer. So commit composer is still writing your commit messages for you, but it's also organizing. I think the next level, the reason why it's like a step function up is because we're organizing the files for you too, right? So like, for example, this first commit is just the agents view, but the second one is actually all 3. So work trees, pull requests, and agents. And you know what? I bet what it did is,
it's splitting the hunks.
Separated. Yeah. Like, hey, you added 2 features. Feature 1, feature 2, right? So this makes perfect sense that it would organize it like this.
And it's why I especially like it for like big, long feature changes that I've been working on. It's like too many files change. Like, oh, well, even within the same file, it's going to split up what commit that should be and all that. It's really nice.
Yeah. Like for when you're going deep and you come out with a whole bunch of stuff, yeah, the commit
Like you've been
compose
prompting
can,
for a half hour. There's a lot of
yeah,
stuff changed.
yeah,
Like, oh man, what did I even do? Like, yeah. And like you could have
yeah.
it
There,
summarize itself, right? Reading the context, or you could give it a
mhm,
smaller context of just the changes and commits and all
yeah.
that. Yeah.
So this looks good to me. Let's create these commits. Boop, boop, boop. All right. So I think we're ready to get this merged in. For sure, for sure. Let's get these 12.1 release notes merged in. So let's start here. So like what's the thing about I will admit that I'm like still relatively new to work trees.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say that GitKraken has helped make them easier for me to visualize and understand and work with.
Yep.
Uh, and I've been running into like, oh, I need to respect work trees more too. I don't just spam creating them and run into issues.
Yep.
But I'm ready to merge this in. So the nice thing about GitKraken is that if you have, I'm integrated with GitHub, github.com. So I have the ability to drag and drop that branch onto main and say, hey, let's start a pull request right here and now. Let me push this up to the repo, the remote. And this is my favorite part here. We have a little form that comes out, and there is yet another GitKraken AI button that is here for you. I was talking to a customer and he was like going through this flow and he said like, oh my God, I love this button. It's just a lifesaver because,
This is my first time
well,
seeing this actually. Yeah.
yeah, it's great. I shamelessly press it all the time. And I'll
Yep.
double check just to be kind to my reviewers, just to make sure like, yep, this looks good. This looks good. So yeah, we're just adding the 12.2.1 release notes. Let me add someone. Let's add Roberto, just so he knows that we're creating that. And
Do
sure
you
enough,
know
we
what the
created a
difference
PR.
between an assignee and a reviewer is? I've never actually understood that distinction. Sorry to interrupt with that. My
I
brain
no no
just
no. That's such a I've always just like, is the assignee the person who's responsible for the PR? And the reviewer is just, I'm just here to give you my eyeballs and brain. And so I'm
I
like
don't
I'm here
know.
to
Yeah.
I'm here to guest star on an episode 2 of your season and
See, I thought the reviewer was maybe like the lead, and then like assignee. I don't know what an assignee does. Maybe they're like assigned with validating it. I don't know. Yeah, QA maybe.
No, yeah, that's a good question.
Okay.
Well, you give me a good segue to pop open. If you are using GitHub, you get big benefit because you can open up those PRs, that PR view inside of GitKraken desktop. And here we can debate between the merits and demerits of adding reviewers or assignees
Yep.
to your GitHub pull request. So here, for example, I've added Roberto. He can take a look at this PR. He'll probably say, this looks good to me. Uh, wait, this wasn't in here on Tuesday. I'm just like, yep. Let's
Oops.
get that in. Let's get that in, please. And I am someone who has merge permissions on the repo, so I could also choose to just outright merge this
Right.
into the repo and then launch it in. But I'll have Roberto take a look so we can get that going. Oh, and from the PR view, by the way, we do list out the branch that's associated to the PR. So it's a great way for like if you're someone else who's, because you can open up, this is now on the GitHub remote, right? So like you now have access to it. If you are a collaborator on the repo, you'll be able to check out. You could like open up to the PR view and then jump straight to the branch
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have it checked out in the repo.
Nice.
Just a nice little cool thing. All right, so that's that PR. And you know what? We also want to create a pull request for this. So we'll do the same thing here. Let me double check something. I'm just, it would be cool if you could create a PR from right here. Maybe I need to think about what that would feel like or look like. If there's a way to like, I mean, maybe I'm just being lazy and not just like wanting to drag and drop, but let's go ahead and just do the drag and drop.
It's easy enough.
But not, yeah, it's easy enough. It's here. All right, so let's show, sure enough, we have the PR form. We'll do the same thing here, but this time we're going to get a different change set since we modified some different files. There is a follow-up item for me on my side. So this does merit a screenshot, right? Like this is where the sort is available. So at some point I need to go and just like create that screenshot, get it into the repo and then merge it in as part of this change. But for now, this does the trick. This gives us what we need to like update the docs to reflect the latest versions.
Nice.
Okay. And sure enough, we have PR 78 created as well. Oh, I did not add a reviewer. Let's also add, I'm going to add one more person. So we'll add Roberto, and then we'll also add Vicente. Vicente can double check.
Nice.
Oh, did I do it? Okay, cool. Sweet. There you go. So that was us using GitKraken 12's agent session view. We were able to work out of this repository, have Claude help us essentially perform an audit of the repo. And I was able to use GitKraken desktop the whole time to verify the agent output as I was going through here. And now the final step for me is like once these PRs are approved and merged and pushed to the website, do the needful double check that everything looks right on production and make any edits that I need to make. Sometimes weird stuff happens when you push stuff up to the actual website, like, oops, let me reword this or let me rework this. But yeah, that's, I think, a pretty simple example of getting some work done with GKD 12.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, building in public. Yeah.
I know this is something I was supposed to do anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah. Yeah, I like that kind of like transparency of like seeing how the sausage is made a bit, you know?
It's true. Yeah. I love the support docs. I think I do, I try to make sure that, that they're helpful. Oh, but so if anyone watching this, either now or in the future, if you ever have like ideas for like how to improve this, let us know. We do want to make this useful to you, or at least to, if you want to send your robot to crawl our stuff and like get you the answer, that, be our guest.
Yeah, we did have one question that I was going to bring back as feedback, but maybe you know. So GitKraken gives, this is from Maziar on YouTube. GitKraken gives pro users 250,000 AI tokens per week. What is each AI token equivalent to? For example, how many ChatGPT 5.5 model tokens does one AI token correspond to? So I don't think we actually surfaced that anywhere.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
I'll be frank. I don't know what that's a really good question though. Cause like if you are trying to be mindful of your usage, it would be helpful for you to know like what's the ratio between one to the other. So that's actually, if I could, let's find out. We'll ask our team internally, see if that's something we could make available on maybe one of our Help Center doc pages, or at least some rule of thumb that you can use as like just a quick calculation for like what you can expect to use.
Yeah, like, oh, well, using this model, you get theoretically X amount of commit message generations or something, right? Theoretically.
Yeah. Or even just like, I wonder if we show how many credits how many credits we use for a given operation. Even that would be useful because then you get an idea.
I don't know if we surfaced that audit log, but I do think we probably have it on record. So like we could get it, but yeah.
Just that like, oh, that one commit compose took this much, was this much usage. And so that at least gives you your own personal like idea for what your burn rate is.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that would be interesting. But something we can bring back to the rest of the team. And yeah. Was there anything else you wanted to show us?
Let's double check the release notes over here. So if you want to see a video of just like me going through all of GitKraken 12, definitely go on. I mean, for those of you on YouTube, just pop over to our channel. I had a little too much fun with this thumbnail, not gonna lie, but
it's a good one.
it's a good one. I thought I had some fun. Let's double check what the release notes here are. So yes, we talked about the agent sessions, the ability to create them. I did hear Chris tease something. We are trying to make something even that goes one step further than what we showed today. There will come a day where we can talk more about it, but for now, hopefully you'll enjoy this teaser or get mad at me. It's fine. It's okay. We'll try to build up buzz, right? And we also talked about the terminal. So it's been upgraded. So for those of you, if you didn't know we had a terminal, we have a terminal. Definitely take advantage of it. Take a gander. Use it to run any agent. I guess that's one thing I would point out. is that if you go in here and you were a little frustrated because maybe you use a certain coding
Like,
agent right
yeah, like
now, we
Augie
use
or AMP
yeah,
or, just some of the others, open code.
exactly. So we do integrate with Claude Code, Codex CLI, Open Code, Copilot, and oh, there's one more, Gemini. Gemini. So,
Yep.
so if you have any of, and their coding agents, whatever their CLIs are, right? So like, if you have their CLIs installed, we'll pick it up. And I believe if you go to preferences, let's see here, we have the agents view, but there's one more in here. I know there might be like another agents in here. I'll have to find out where we have that configuration.
Mm-hmm.
Is it
External tools,
integrations?
maybe.
External tools? It might be. It might be. It might be. Yes, you're right. So we do have this is where you could configure. I think it's the same drop-down menu as before, but it's a quick way to double check if we are detecting your agent. The reason why I bring that up, because if you are using, say, like Augie or Cursor or something, Cursor agent, whatever it is, you
Mm-hmm.
could always just or here, make that it, Claude. You could just run whatever the command is to wake it up, and you could still run it out of your terminal. So that's just something I would call out.
In the work tree,
That
too, right? Yeah.
yeah. And so um all you would need to do differently is that when you're creating a new agent session, just select none. So let's say cursor example. I don't think I have cursor installed, but let's do it anyway. Let's just see what happens, right? So let's create a brand new session. Uh, I believe the command is cursor agent.
There it is.
LOL. Oh my God.
Nicely done. Good guess.
Cool. All right. I'm not going to finish the authentication here, but like, it's just a way of showing that, like, okay, yeah, I am using a different agent. Let me just, you could still use the agent sessions view to let us do the work of creating the work tree for you. And then it is convenient when we can run the command to wake up the agent, but you can always just run that command yourself and experience the same benefits that I was just showing in the previous couple examples.
Nice.
Yeah. And then let's double check the release notes one more time. Let's see here. Oh, well, I don't know if this AI stuff moves so fast, but we do now support Claude Sonnet 4.6 and Opus 4.6. This is for GitKraken AI. I guess maybe I'll spend a moment just talking about GitKraken AI. So this is separate from the coding agent stuff. So like, Chris and I were going through and showing, working with the agent here in the terminal. This is a separate experience than what we were doing when we were using GitKraken AI to write commit messages to, for example, if I can get an explanation of commit messages over here. This is using a service called GitKraken AI, and GitKraken AI by default will use Gemini. That's what we have on the background to analyze the commits and provide you an explanation, to analyze your stage changes and present you with a commit message. That's the service that we have running. And when Chris and I were talking about the usage details, the credits, that is part of GitKraken AI. That is separate from if you're using Claude Code. When you're talking to Claude Code in the terminal in GitKraken desktop, you're using your Claude Code usage, right? Like that's where you're drawing from. So anyway, you do have the ability to connect to a different provider. And so you would just check this box. So by default, if you just have enabled GitKraken AI, you'll use our stuff, which is Gemini by default. If you check this extra box, you do have the ability to select a different provider. We do have some out-of-the-box connections available if you use like OpenAI, Anthropic, Azure, Google, or Olama. For everything else, just select custom URL and be sure to set your endpoint URL if you want to put a limit on number of tokens, and then please put in your API key, and that'll direct GitKraken AI. So anytime you ask for a commit message generation, explain commits, PR title and description, we'll use this service instead of our service. or if you want to point to something locally, like that's all possible through this connection. Or bonus, if you're someone who's using GitKraken on premise, which it has a serverless deployment and also a self-hosted server deployment, you don't have the ability. You could even call our stuff if you wanted to, just because of the way that things are set up in your environment. You could still take advantage of GitKraken AI if you have something set up internally that you can call based on, like you go into the office and there's a box that you can call. There you go. Great. You'll be able to still enjoy GitKraken AI features. Same with the coding agents things here. So if you have a coding agent that's also available on-prem within your on-premise environment. Maybe I'm getting too much in the weeds, but I just want to call it out. There are some folks that's the reality of their work, and that there is some flexibility. You can still enjoy some of these same benefits in those sorts of environments.
Nice.
I think that about covers all the big stuff for GitKraken Desktop 12. Not in the release notes, but I'll do a little plug anyway. We do have so we've had this for years, but we've had on learn.gitkraken.com. We put together the foundations of Git certification. This has been well received. It's been here for years. So if you ever want to if you have someone who just wants to brush up on Git and kind of demonstrate proof that they've done it, we have an 83 lesson course. It's only about an hour and a half's worth of content, but there is a certification exam at the end, and you get a cool certificate to prove that you're Git certified. So that's all here. But we also rolled out something called Git control for AI coding workflows. And so if you go, it's also on learn.gitkraken.com/courses/Git control for AI agents. If you just go to learn.gitkraken.com, you'll find it. But you have the ability to kind of get an idea, get an introduction into AI coding agents, just the concept themselves. So, or if you just want to send this to someone, I've been talking to a lot of teams where people are still kind of getting the hang of it. They're still learning the vocabulary. They're still kind of a little unsure and hesitant. So when I put this course together, I try to keep that in mind. We're hey, you're probably getting thrown into this. Let's introduce you into why coding agents are cool, but the problems that they present, and then how you can use GitKraken Desktop to kind of start taking advantage of the benefits that you get from, just like we were showing earlier, using an agent to kind of analyze a body of files for relevant changes based off of something that happened, which in our case was a release. So that's all available on learn.gitkraken.com. And it's free. Both
Awesome.
courses that I showed, available for free.
And yeah, I'll even mention members of our own marketing team are taking our foundational Git stuff, right? And as people are using AI to build and make code, right? Everyone's a coder at this point because of AI. Everyone probably needs to understand Git at least a little bit. So that foundational Git course is really powerful for especially people that aren't programmers.
For sure. I feel it takes you from just being a vibe coder to someone who has the building blocks to make something a little bit more durable, a little bit more hardened, or at the very least, you help future you have more options if something goes wrong or you need to revert to something or go in a different direction.
Makes sense.
Yeah. How am I doing on time, Chris?
Plenty of time. So yeah, theoretically, you've got 10 more minutes if you want them. Anything you want to cover or chat about, whatever.
Yeah. Let's see here. I know I could talk forever about GitKraken Desktop. I guess let's see. Let's go back to the list view and let me explore a few things here. What would be useful? There's so much I could talk about, but I want to see what would be the most useful too. I guess there is one additional Jira ticket I could look at. And let's see if we can explore some other stuff here. So, so this was a 12.1.2 release. Am I able to mark this as done? I've never actually done that before on a GitHub issue. I'll figure that out later. That's fine. Okay.
Well, normally what you do is on the PR, you would have in the description of the PR fixes or closes the number of the issue. And then once the PR is merged, it'll auto close the issue as well.
I see. So in this case, it's currently marked open. Yep, that's a good point. Okay, so I could probably change it to, oh, here we go, close issue. Let me see.
Well, no. I don't know if you want to do this just yet because we haven't done it yet. So if you go to the PR
Oh,
that
yeah.
this is going to be associated with, yeah, and then you could update the description of that PR with the number 76.
Yes. So let's go back over here. We were in the release notes, this PR.
Oh, and it's actually even up at the top. It says fix his number. You would just type the 76.
Oh my gosh.
Normally, I think I put those at the end, but either way, not a big deal.
Beautiful. And so now if we pop back over here.
Fixes 76. Yep.
Yep. And then we click into here. Haha. All right, cool. So that should all be nice and integrated. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay. So we did have one other thing on our plate. Let me just get this going for the support team since they did kindly prepare this for me. So there is an additional change that is on the plate. Looks like we need to define, we have new fine-grained token content to be added. And so support was kind enough to prepare, like, these are the minimum required for a read-only integration. So we have metadata, contents, pull request, issues. Cool. So this is all stuff that we need updated, but this is for a different repository. So I'm actually going to see how well Claude does with just like Roberto's write-up. So,
Okay.
and this is for the Git integration for Jira Cloud documentation, which I have open right here in this tab. So we're going to do something similar here. We're going to start a brand new agent session. We're going to create off of latest main. It's going to be Claude code. And this one is fine-grained token scopes. So fine-grained token scopes. So I guess this is a cool way for us to kind of retrace our steps one more time. Running Claude. I'm just going to be tongue-in-cheek do this.
Sure. That's how I do it. Yeah, do it or let's do it. Let's go. Yeah, for sure.
Roberto wrote it really good.
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of a meme on my other stream sometimes where it's like, have you seen the Starsky and Hutch movie? It's like older. Ben Stiller.
Is that Ben Stiller and what's his face? The guy who says
Owen
wow
Wilson
all the time.
or
Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so he has this character he plays at the end with the glasses and the gray hair, and he's like, "Do it, do it, do it." So yeah, that it's become that meme.
I do that. I do like to. We do have like we do movie nights Friday and Saturday. So like every once in a while, like after Friday nights are great for like those comedies where like you just need something stupid.
Yep.
And then like Saturday night we'll watch something a little bit. We're ready. We're ready to like be invested in like we watched like The Godfather Part 2, which was
okay,
really...
or like There Will Be Blood or something where it's like
you're
in it, you know, like
it's like,
this is
oh
a
my
3
gosh,
hour thing.
I need to pay attention. I
Yep.
need to pay attention to all the stuff that's happening. Okay. Well, Claude is orbiting. It says it's almost done thinking. So this repo is massive. Well, it has many more markdown files. So this is where I'm very thankful that Claude is looking through the markdown files. So like, just to give you an idea, I don't know if this is a well-known fact, but like over on the commit panel, we'll always list, you know, what files were modified, but you do have the ability to flip on the view all files. And this, at the very least, will give you an idea for like the scope of like how many files are in this repository and like how they're organized. So you can see here we have a whole bunch of stuff. So if I click into this markdown file, I can see like, okay, well, this is the webhook page. This is the... So much stuff with GIJ. End user cloud features GIJ cloud.md. So there's a whole bunch of stuff here. So needless to say, there's a whole bunch of stuff that Claude is going through. Looks like it's ready for me. It's like, hey, you want me to just make all these edits? I'm like, yeah. So let's go ahead and make these edits. Again, you could just do this in your Claude. If you just want to open Claude Desktop and flip over to the Claude Code tab, you could do that. Or if you're working out of your preferred terminal, you can work out of there and we'll still detect all those changes. We'll still write to the same repo and GitKraken, we'll see them.
Nice.
So sure enough, Claude has made those 3 changes. Looks like it's still going. But we have 3 files that have been modified so far. So I can see here, for example, that it's adding links, which are, I think, this table of contents. So it's just adding table of contents. It added 2 subsections, and it's creating links to those subsections. Here it renamed create GitHub or GitHub Enterprise Path to just GitHub and GitHub Enterprise Path. It added a table, and this actually matches the description that Roberto had over here. So it had metadata content. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Are there 7 rows? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Awesome. So that's already encouraging to see.
Yep.
Let's double check over here. Looks like, again, added. This is probably a reference to the other page that we were looking at just now.
Mm-hmm.
And then here, again, linking to those same sections from the main page that was edited. So this looks pretty good to me. And it's saying, hey, I'm going to make one more change. You want to take a look at it? So like, sure, let's take a look. So right now we're at 3 files modified. What's it doing over here? So the integration guide. Looks like it's trying to update the table of contents. It may not need to do that, but let's see what it does when it goes through that. Oh, so this time it's making code changes. So this one was going to go beyond Markdown. So I'm curious to see what that looks like when it finishes. Let's see what that is. I might end up deciding to not let it do that. Let's see. It's skedaddling this time.
I love all the words it does. Yeah.
Yeah, this one,
That's
that
awesome.
one's fun. Skedaddling. Does it have like a record of when it's skedaddled? Nah, just the one active one. Okay. So in this case, it's just running a bunch of commands on the repo. Let's see. There's a non-breaking space in the file between repositories and enable. I'll use Python to handle the replacement correctly. So are you trying to edit the file? There's a non-breaking space. There's a non-breaking space.
Yeah, the non-breaking space thing seems strange.
Yeah. I'm just going to tell it, you're good. You're good. I'm expecting markdown changes, and that looked like something else. So I'm happy with this for now. Let's try the commit composer. I'm guessing. Oh, I know what happened. See what happens when I check one too many checkboxes. So let's disable. I checked the box to set up my own API key, but I didn't put an API key. So of course I would get that message. Let's compose the commits one more time. It might be just one commit. Let's see if it gives us even 2 commits. It might be 2 commits. Oh,
4.
okay. It gave us 4 commits. All right, let's double check this. So it's saying GitHub Enterprise table of contents. Okay, that looks fine. This one is github.com gij. Okay, this is the actual change itself. So that looks fine. Fine grain article reference. Oh, okay. This is for the creating personal access tokens. Okay, so it's just another place where the table shows up.
Got it.
And then over here we have another reference link, and then mention that fine grain exists. Okay. This looks pretty good to me. I guess since we have multiple commits here, I mean, I could show off that you could reorder these. You could squash, drop, reword. This is basically like the interactive rebase editor, but for the commit compose.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty happy with this. Let's hit create commits. And okay, we're now at a point where I can contribute this. So let's push this up to, oh my goodness, do I need to fork this? Oh my gosh, I might need to fork this repo.
Oh no.
Let me just hit submit. Let me see what happens. Oh, I have permission. Great.
Nice.
I was really worried. Okay. And then finally, let's just create this pull request. And Roberto can review and chastise me for anything that doesn't look quite right. So here we go. Roberto, thank you so much. Great pull request. All right. Huzzah!
And there we
That one was
go.
more fun. That one
Does
we
this
did
one
stuff for the
close an
bot a bit
issue?
more. Oh, it does. You're right. So let's say, oh, I was actually already here. This one is supposed to close 257. It might, because this is the pull request, right? And it
That
mentions
is
258.
well, 258 is its number. 257 is the issue.
Oh, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I
You're
hate the
right.
fact
So
that they use the same incrementer.
yeah. Okay, this looks right.
Yep.
Yep. Super. Splendid. All right.
That was
I think
awesome.
that about covers. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And thanks for letting me work on your stream.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, this is great. And I was sitting there building Python 3 in the background because I had an out-of-date version. So, like, yeah, that would have been boring for chat. So I'm glad I got to do that while you were hanging out.
Yeah, I'm glad to knock out a couple things too.
Yeah, that was
What
fun.
do you have next?
Well, I'm going to get working back on the GitBench stuff. You're welcome to hang out if you want. Let's see.
I'll probably peace out then.
Yeah, no, I think that's fine.
Cool. Well, it's good seeing you. It's good seeing you, chat. Or people watching the VOD. Glad to stop by.
Yeah, this was awesome. And yeah, looking forward to doing more of these in the future.
Sounds good. Take care, y'all.
Have a great rest of your day. Later. All right. Just double checking. No other comments we need to reply to. So yes, now we got this screen showing. And we're back to this part. So what I want to do is, yeah, we've got Python 3.14 installed, which I was doing in the background. And now, theoretically, I want to globally use that version. And then which Python 3. I'm not sure that's correct. That is definitely not correct. All right, what do I got to do? Let me double check. Maybe it's a thing I had to source. Aha, now it's using the homebrew Python 3. Perfect. Okay, so I just needed a new tab. Let me do that here then. Source. I don't think I have that. All right. Let's do this slash dot zishrc, I believe. Oop. All right, cool. So now we should be able to do the pip install here. Oh. Aha. So then, yeah, we want brew install pipx. Oh, we wanted brew install pipx. See, I need this Python stuff up to date anyway, so it's worth it. And I could have been doing more of this while we were waiting. Let's double check. No comments yet. All right, just making sure. I think we got about like a half hour or so. It could be like a hard stop or not. Not a big deal. The meeting I had after this, I believe, is canceled because other people are busy with other things. So then, yeah, let's double check this. What were they saying about pipx? All right, so we definitely don't want to break that. So then we just do pip x install -e dot. So then all this is going to do is it's going to download and install all the wheels for GitBench. It's also going to install GitBench so that we can call it directly. And let's read the README, double check, right? So yeah, GitBench, list, run, etc. We shouldn't need to do the run, but we may need to do a render. The report, I believe, is what we need. Okay, so then GitBench report, dev, loaded the data, wrote the results JSON, starting the Astro server, which it's going to pick 4322, which is fine, but we should have our full list of data in there now. And yeah, the fact that that's taking a little while to load, I think is a good sign. Yes, perfect. All right. So we got our actual data here on our local host. That's good because it was just weird trying to evaluate and fix some of this stuff otherwise. So now we've got our runs and okay, yeah, now we can do stuff. I got more to like fix style-wise, but as far as the codex work we did here, do we think it blended? So the idea is we can click into hi here. As we change difficulty, it updates difficulty in the browser. Perfect. So now if we refresh, yep, okay, needs JavaScript to do so, so that's fine. And then from here, as we switch from low to high, and yeah, that flash of unstyled content, I think I actually like it better without the theme. Now, hold on. Here's something I want to make sure of. So we'll close that because we don't need it. What I want to do here is close this. And instead of dev, I think I want to do just open. So then this is going to build the Astro site. And we should theoretically not have too much of an issue with that like navigation stuff. I think that was just dev time. I want to make sure the theme isn't popping as we navigate like that. So this does like a full build of every page. So it's all going to be like statically rendered. It should be faster because it's no longer like dev tooling BS. All right. So there we go. It does take a little while to load these. That is a little more annoying. I wonder if there's like a better initial load we could do. The fact that this is taking that long, though, I think it failed. Aha. So it's trying to load up Vite, which it shouldn't need to do anymore. No, that was just an old session. Okay, cool. So yeah, load's really slow on this machine for some reason, but at least we have the data. And this is what I was telling Jonathan about. Sonnet is really, really bad at the Git stuff. Devstrel is better and worse depending on your reasoning value. And this is like an older version of Devstrel. And then finally, we start getting like Mistral Medium 3.5, which is not great. But Opus, not many people would expect Opus to actually run this poorly doing Git stuff. From there, everything, kind of gradually increases as we'd expect it to. But yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of interesting to me how some of these things outperform what you'd be expecting. And yeah, what I wanted to check real quick. Let's double check this. We do still get that initial flash of unstyled content. It's not ideal. All right, so I'm gonna have to work on that. That flash as we navigate is really annoying. I think I have a hunch on how that's happening, but we'll think about that as a separate thing. What I wanted to actually like show that I found very interesting, and that's the wrong one, is we go back to overview here. And we can actually see like token usage and like runtime and like cost per full run and some of this other stuff. So sure, we can see like how well these things do on these tests, but how much do they cost to run? Well, I mean, if we look at just pure cost per full run, the most expensive models out there are actually Gemini 3.1 Pro and Gemini 3.5 Flash. Even though technically their per token cost that you actually look at on their, billing sheet is lower than Opus and GPT-5.5, they burn through tokens at such a high rate that it ends up costing you more anyway, which is really, really interesting. Because if you look at, Flash Lite over here, it's actually the cheapest one you can get. And for the cost, it's pretty smart, right? At an 80-ish% pass rate, you're paying 2 cents. For an 85-ish% pass rate, you're paying $1.50 just on pure token cost. Even though, well, technically no, Flash is a very, very cheap model, but it also, like, if we look at the usage of tokens here, right, token usage wise, well, yeah, 3.1 Flash Lite and 3 Flash are actually really low token usage as well. But we then dig into some of these are very high, like 3.5 Flash. So many tokens. Kimi K26, so many tokens. And then somehow Qwen, all of the Qwen 3.6s use the most tokens. Now, the thing is, right, we're checking all of these on one metric. Well, what if we wanted to check multiple metrics? And that's why we have this quadrant chart. So if we've got cost versus intelligence, the best one in the list is Nemotron 3 Super, right? It is getting, up in this corner, an 87.3% pass rate with the effort of none, and it's only 4 cents. So it is like the best performing, like smart enough for cheapest cost. And then we can look at GPT-5.4 is also like in there, 3 Flash in there. These things are huge values, and you should probably be considering using these when you're doing something lightweight like Git stuff, because they're good enough at Git and they're cheap. So you get some value. But what if we wanted to look at maybe like cost versus token usage, right? So cost versus token usage, what do we think is like the best thing? It looks to me like it's either 5.4 mini or 5.4. Excuse me. So that's an interesting graph. The quadrant's kind of hard to like see the green. But yeah, the GPT-5.4 are super low token usage and super low cost. What if we look at runtime instead, right? Token usage is an interesting metric, but some people want really fast models, right? So as far as like the cost and runtime, Flashlight preview. What about intelligence and runtime? Ooh, GPT-5.5. So not only is GPT-5.5 smart, it's the best one score-wise, it's also the fastest. Like, it's actually the absolute best in both categories. As far as runtime goes, Qwen 3.6 Plus is pretty, pretty smart, but it takes way longer. It took a total runtime of 79 minutes to run all of the Qwen 3.6 Plus stuff. Now, I may need to validate and double check some of that, but I find it really interesting. So now, as we keep looking, right, like this is just helping you analyze and think about what value these things have. And we'll be actually providing this eventually as like a full-on GitKraken product in which we add new models over time. We do our like analysis and yeah, I think it'll be fun. I think we still got some time, and I don't have a hard stop, so I think we can maybe hammer out a little bit more. Right? I think that's fine. Do we have any comments, questions? Feel free. Go ahead and ask. I don't know what the viewership numbers are, but anyone who's out there, what are you up to? What are you working on? So yeah, we got that fixed. Honestly, there's a bunch of styling issues that I believe we have fixed in my other fork. Let's try and think about things that we can work on kind of in a vacuum here. So this one's very annoying. This is where maybe I want to get the agent browser skill. So skills agent browser. Right? We want it to be able to like go and, you know, download itself and get going, right? So we want to maybe add this skill. And we can kill this for now. All right, so where do I want to install this? We're going to do it into Claude Code. It's got the automatic stuff of open code. I didn't know Kimi Code had a CLI. That's cool. Cursor, AMP, anti-gravity, codex. Yeah, so I think it's got most of the ones I care about. I have been meaning to try Forge Code. I haven't tried Goose yet either. Hermes Agent is like an OpenClaw thing. But let me, you know, let's not overdo this. OpenHands, Pi, I might use eventually. We're going to be using Codex today, though, but looks good to me. I'm going to say globally, and we can symlink it and proceed with installation. So now we've got Agent Browser. What we want to do is here in GitBench, I would say it did this just fine. So real quick, we're going to do git add GitBench web. Oop. Okay, and then because I am incredibly lazy, here's the mistake I made, though. We are inside of the work tree instead of the branch we were on. So now, here we go. Our work in progress on this exact branch. We added this file, and I'm just going to generate a commit message. All right, so sync model benchmark filters with URL. Nailed it. Cool. All right, so we've got that. What we want to do as our next task. Let's start a fresh session. Here we are. Yeah, fine, let's update. Why not? Any minute now. All right, there we go. So yeah, codex, fire it up. I'm going to skip that for now, just because I have a broken thing there. And the task we want is something like the history page renders funny with way too much text in the, what is this? in the pass rate over time graph. Use the agent browser skill to screenshot and verify. All right, so now that this is going, right? Command not found, agent browser. Okay, and then, yeah, npx agent browser. It's going to need to start the server. So that'll take a second. All right, so they're going to start the Astro server. Sweet. And yeah, so I believe we'll be able to see that update on its own. What I think we might want to do is let's look at some GitKraken. Oh, hold on. Yes, don't ask again. So yeah, our work in progress. I feel like we're going to want to get rid of some of these because it's just going to be noise, but we'll ignore it for now. iTerm was prevented from doing something. Hold on. Okay, so yep. All right, so now it's running the agent browser stuff. Skills get core. Baseline browser snapshot shows the graph as one enormous accessible text blob. I would say inaccessible. The chart legend is concatenating all models. Yep. So it's updating our time series chart, which we haven't really messed with at all. The goal with what this like time series like chart is trying to do is it's trying to show us like how good these models get over time, right? So theoretically, we might not want to just run a single model when a new one updates. We might want to update and run all of them. Now, it does, based upon the costs we saw, cost around $70 to rerun this. So we probably don't want to rerun all models every single time we add a new one. But maybe we start doing it quarterly, maybe monthly. I would say monthly would probably be worthwhile. But yeah, like how often do we think we need to track this stuff over time? And ideally, updating this should be automated. And how do we want to run that? So I think that's the interesting bit. Let's look at where we're at here. It's still working. Yeah, sure. It can kill the Astro server. And then, yeah, how is this going? We don't really have the session because I started it externally. But we will at least be able to see the changes popping through into our unstaged as it goes. So it only changed the time series chart component. Now, what all did it change? And yeah, I wish I could zoom in more. But okay, so the selected models, it looks like we have groups as a selected thing. All it did was remove the legend, right? Like naming these groups differently is kind of a bit of slop, but it is technically a better name. All right, so let me do a quick dev server and see what we get out of it. GitBench report dev, and let's see what we get. So it's not going to be a great graph right now, right? Because it's just a single point in time with all the models. We did run a few others separately, which is fine because that's where their timeline would start anyway. And then, yeah, maybe in June, we could add another set. So really, I don't know if this run history is valuable right now. How could we selectively hide this until we have better values? So I think a new context for that would make sense. And this will be maybe the last thing we do real quick before we wrap it up. We can skip that. Let me at least commit what we did. And this is fix hide the legend on the history page. You can always kind of tell. You can always kind of tell my commits versus the AI commits. They all follow the conventional commit syntax, but I pretty much never capitalize this first word. So if you ever like look at my repos, you can tell which ones were AI because I never capitalized that. Shh. But anyway, so we did that fix. The thing I want to do here, we should hide the history page if we don't have more than one history event for any models. As it is now, we have some models we ran on different days, but they still only ran once. So we should have maybe done a plan. All right, so the has meaningful history definition. This is the thing that's kind of being created for us, and I like the plan for that. I'm wondering if it's going to be like a feature flag or something. And realistically, like we can just hide it on the sidebar. Yep, so the history page still stays, right? And yeah, shared helper in the sidebar. Sweet. So this actually seems pretty straightforward, like almost exactly what we're looking for, I think. We don't care about that. So yeah, as the work in progress changes here, we may commit some of that. And then any questions, comments, anything going on fun over here? And hey, what's up there? Talk with Taylor. Hermes with GPT-5.5 codex is what you use. And like, are you saying you use that for just coding, or is that more like of an OpenClaw kind of thing, right? Like, are you using that more for like as your like desktop agent rather than like your coding agent? Yeah, I'm curious about that, Taylor. I haven't used Hermes yet, so I'm really unclear. All right, so boom. All right, we get to the overview page, and the history is hidden for now because it's just not relevant. But if we do navigate to the history page at least, right, directly, maybe someone had it bookmarked or whatever, run history appears after at least one model has more than one recorded benchmark run. So we don't need to see that in the moment, which is perfect. Could be better, but could be worse. Realistically, we don't want people landing on that page until we have history. Okay, so another bit that I think is nice is we have created our methodology, like why we do some of this, how some of this data was grabbed, what the pass at K metric means, similarity scoring, like all that. Right, like model selection and run metadata. I think the compare page is going to need a lot of work because I want it to look a little bit more like the open router comparison page, where it's just like the columns and you only have 3 that you compare at a time, right? And maybe we still get like the effort levels in there. Yeah. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, I pretty much want to mimic the open router compare page. I keep doing .com even though it's .ai. So if we were to look at, let's just say Opus, no, Claude. Wait, what? What is going on here? Okay, normally we can actually just like search the models with this. That was strange to me. Anyway, Claude Opus 4.7, sure. Then we will do a comparison. Seems like they're having some issues at the moment. Let's do a hard refresh. Wow, so their model list is down. Okay, well, that's why we can't do it. But the idea would be we would have like a maximum of 3 in which you're comparing these, and they would be a nice side-by-side comparison of the things. Looks like they got some issues at the moment. Not a big deal. But I think that's my next plan. Whether I do that on my stream, right? CM Griffing on, Twitch, YouTube, whatever, or maybe it's something we save for another one of these GitKraken streams. That might be a separate thing. But let me double check. Yeah. So looks like we're good. I can stop the screen share. I actually don't know how to do that. There it is. Boom. This was fun. Yeah, I enjoyed doing this stuff. Do we have any comments real quick? Okay. This is probably a good point to wrap up at because I don't want to get too deep into the middle of another task. And hopefully you enjoyed this. Like what Jonathan showed us with the new stuff in GitKraken Desktop 12 is awesome. I believe the next one of these we have scheduled is going to be talking about some of the really cool stuff coming to GitLens, which is awesome. And then maybe one after that would be showing off the cool secret thing that we were kind of hinting at that we can't show yet, but is awesome. I wish I could even give some hints, but yeah, we got some really cool stuff we're working on under the hood. Maybe if we had more time today, I could show you like the GitKraken review stuff, which is pretty fun, but maybe that's the thing for next time. So hopefully you enjoyed this. I will be bidding you farewell. I will let my coworker Jade start getting to ending the stream, but this was awesome. I appreciate you all watching, and I'm looking forward to doing this again. I don't know how to end the stream. I don't have that button.